What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Dudes Who Bet Daily for a Sunday. Papa Dude, we are here. We are back, and we do the Saturday recap on the Sunday show before we get into the bets. But I'll tell you what, we got something breaking news actually to cover. Jimbo Fisher out at Texas A&M, $77 million buyout and all. He's out. What are your thoughts on this morning?
Well, we just talked about it here for just a second. I got up this morning when I looked, I was thinking we might see Sam Pittman on the list.
Yep.
That's why I just go to the scoreboard. I don't even go to the news, college football news, but I thought, well, let's see if anything's happened on that. And to be honest with you, I just looked at it about an hour ago. So I was pretty shocked. Not that they fired him, but the timing of it is a little odd with just 2 games to go. They won 51-10 last night.
Yeah.
I hate to tell Texas A&M, but they're having the same kind of season they do every year. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And the thing that I think we need to talk about is these stupid college administrators. They give a coach a $76 million buyout.
Crazy.
And that's what's holding Arkansas up too, is a buyout. It's not like that. I think my brother told me it was 15, maybe something like that.
It's significantly lower. Yeah.
But still, why do you give Sam Pittman a buyout after 1 year? And here's another thing, Arkansas fans. You think you're so good. You gave Sam Pittman this kind of buyout after a 9-4 season.
Yeah.
And that's all you can be anyway. I hate to tell you that.
So
you think you're so much better than that, but you're not.
Where does A&M go after this? Because
I don't know.
There's delusional fan bases, and then there's A&M. Like they are the most delusional fake football program in America.
I mean, when they hired Jimbo, who was one of the hottest coaches out there, paid him an unbelievable amount of money.
Yep.
And then gave him this ridiculous buyout.
Yeah.
And now they're stuck. I want to know, they've got boosters that have deep pockets.
Well, he basically went to A&M and did the exact same thing that every coach has ever done there.
Everybody else does.
So what? I don't know if you're A&M. I just don't know where you go at this point. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, he basically did, like I said, you have a good year every now and then, but most of the time you're right there in that 6 to 6 to 8-4 range.
It is. And it's where they've always been. Yep. So who do you go get? I think they obviously have somebody in mind. But I don't know where, who it would be. And don't feel sorry for Jimbo. He ought to just sail off in the sunset and take his money. And he's crazy if he goes and gets another job. Nuts.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. It's these coaches. I mean, it's like Sam Pittman. It's like, boy, if they fire him, but shit, $16 million just to get fired. So,
well, yeah.
I mean, look, you want to talk about Arkansas? They've got to go get a guy that's been successful at a program that's a little bit lower than they are, right? Like, like Leopold at Kansas. I don't know if he'd come, but that's the type of guy they got to go get. Honestly,
with Oklahoma and Texas getting out of the Big 12, that job at Kansas suddenly gets a little bit better.
It's better, but I'm not really even specifically him. Just you got to go get like the guy at K-State, the guy at Kansas. You know, like you got to go down the list. Guy at Iowa State. I don't know if any of them would go, but you just go down the list. They have got to this time get a proven winner.
Yeah,
in my opinion, after the 2 hires they've had.
Yeah,
and maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. But go get a guy that's won at a school that's not as good as your school. To me, that's what they've got to do.
Yeah, but you look at what they've hired some pretty good coaches.
Their last 2 have not been good, though.
Yeah, but Bielema just didn't fit.
Bielema's not a horrible coach, but he was not good at Arkansas. No. Yeah.
It wasn't a good fit.
No. And we knew that from the start. But
I thought when they hired Pittman, who I don't know much about him at all. I'd never heard of the guy.
Well, that's just it.
Yeah, I don't think if you're going to go out and get a coordinator of some kind, get somebody people know.
Both times when they hired Chad Morris, when they hired Sam Pittman, when the hire was made, everybody went, I never even heard this guy was in the running type of thing.
Yeah.
And look, to me, you've got to go get a guy that's a proven winner at a school that's not as good as your school this time. And they're out there. Arkansas, to me, it's not like a top 10 job, but it's not like a bottom 50 job.
No,
like it's a good job.
Well,
and
the facilities are great.
Yeah, they should be able to go get a guy that we've heard of, period. I mean, that's, to me, the last two hires have been awful. Now, Pittman looked like it was going to work, but I don't know. It obviously has just fallen apart. And I think losing some of the staff that he's lost, maybe they were kind of
maybe
doing a lot of the code. I don't know. But I just know. And then listen, that they lost Kendall Briles, and I think, Arkansas fans weren't really concerned about it, but I think that was a big blow. Their offense has been putrid since he's left.
Yeah. And I think after yesterday, the last two home games have just been horrendous for them.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't get to watch either one of them. OU was playing during they lost 7-3 at home to Mississippi State that just got beat 51-10.
Yep.
Yesterday.
Yep.
Now, Auburn, if you lose 28-24, okay, you can accept that.
Mm-hmm.
But coming off the Florida game that you won, you should have been ready to play that game.
When I told you in the stands, I said if they would have lost that game by 3 or 7, I know Arkansas people would be mad, and rightfully so, but it's one of those things, right? It's like, listen, they're just not that good, but at least they tried. That's the thing. That Mississippi State game and then this game, Auburn, it's just like there's problems. Like they're not even trying out there right now, and that's crazy.
Well, it sure seems like it, and there's no excuse for that. You can't just throw out that kind of performance 2 straight times.
No, at home.
You just can't do it.
No,
at a place like Arkansas, you just can't.
You really can't do it hardly anywhere. I mean, that's embarrassing.
Yeah, it is. So where do they go? Well, they haven't fired him yet, and I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what they'll do.
The pockets aren't as deep at Arkansas as it is Texas A&M. I mean, they're going to have to come up with that $15 million somewhere.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that's enough about that. And I'm with you. Where does Texas A&M go? You have to think they've got somebody in mind.
They have to think, but I don't know who that would be. Of course, that's neither here nor there. That it's surprising. Like I didn't think Jimbo Fisher would ever be at A&M either, and he did. So
yeah,
but
they've got money talks, and they've got it. So they'll get somebody probably. But
lastly, there's comments Petrino would take the job again. Talk about Arkansas. They haven't been any good since. No. I mean, I know, don't get overly mad. They're Arkansas fans. You've had a couple of seasons where they've been all right for sure, 3 or 4 really, but they haven't been to that level since. Yeah. But look at where he came from, right? Like I know it was the NFL, but like his college resume, he had won at schools that were lesser than Arkansas at the time. Now, Louisville now may be just as good a job as Arkansas, but when Petrino was there, it wasn't, right?
And he'd been at Western Kentucky.
Yeah, like that's the kind of whether you hit or miss on it, to me, that's the track record you want for this next hire.
Yeah, you might go get the guy that's at Liberty, somebody like that.
I mean, you go down the list, right? And you try to get the higher profile ones. And if they say no, you just keep going down the list. But at least this time, get a proven winner at a school that's less than you. That's been the head coach. And like I said, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But to me, that's the route you got to go. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Impressive. Let's go on, I guess. Impressive because a lot of people here in the chat are saying some things. Rodney is calling an upset next week. Oregon State beats Washington. Where is that game?
It's at Oregon State.
I think that is a good pick.
I agree with Rodney. Washington's, I think they're begging to get beat.
Yep.
And I think that is the team that is capable of beating. That's a really tough place to play. I think Rodney's right on that one.
And they're playing pretty well. That's ripe for an upset.
Yep. Now Washington did pull out that game. It was close. They ended up winning. So give them credit. But we talked about it. This Utah team's really not that good.
No, I don't think that was an impressive win.
No.
All of the big boys held serve yesterday. They did win, and that's all you have to do right now. Some were more impressive than others. Michigan went in and did what they're supposed to. Georgia just demolished Ole Miss. And it just shows when Georgia wants to play, they're still a handful.
So let's stop on that for just a second, because the Georgia situation, it's like when they played Kentucky, when they played Ole Miss, they were elite. These other games, they haven't been. I guess Florida, they were pretty damn good against Florida. But do you think they're just a little bored?
Yeah, it could be. Could be. The one that shocks me is they didn't demolish Missouri.
I know. Maybe they weren't ready. I don't know.
I think Missouri is good.
I was going to say, you want to transition to that. Missouri might be one of the top 10 teams in the country.
They are.
As much as I don't want to say that.
I know it.
They're really good.
They absolutely killed Tennessee.
Yeah.
And again, we didn't see any of it. We're just following it. Rodney says, do you need to fire Lincoln and clean house at USC?
If you want to transition to that game, that sounded like a shit show on the radio. We listened on the way home. Yeah.
And we'll get to you here in a minute, Rob. The game you mentioned up there. Yeah. But I don't know what you're going to do there. That is a mess.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's all his fault, but.
Oh, I think it's all his fault.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about that in a second.
He's just soft. And I didn't see this coming, that they would be this bad. Because I thought they would be able to. I thought they had enough talent they'd outscore people, but they don't. Yeah. They're not good on offense either.
I'm telling you, I underestimated how terrible he is. And I was, by the end of his OU tenure, I was like, well, I wish he wouldn't have left. But
well, you look at that. Yeah,
our program was in a mess.
Their offensive line isn't very good.
They really are good in one spot, right? The quarterback.
The quarterback. You take him off of there, and they're horrid.
I'm not sure they have a winning season if they have a normal quarterback.
No, I don't know either. Although they played some cupcakes, they might have. What are they? 7-4.
Yep.
Well, that doesn't take too much to be 5-6.
And think about it. They beat California by 1.
Yeah.
They beat Arizona in overtime.
That's right.
Colorado by, I think, a touchdown. I may be wrong on that. It was close.
It was one-sided, but it got close. It was 7 points.
Yes. So
or 6.
I still thought, and I think Lincoln Riley's a good offensive coach. Don't get me wrong, but
he's the best.
I didn't think he'd go out to USC and be like a world beater like a lot of people, but I thought they'd have pretty good success. I have totally listen. When you look at OU, from what they were last year to what they are now, I just think they had to totally rebuild everything. It is such a soft program, and I don't know what's going to happen out there, but it's. I feel bad for the USC fans. They didn't ask for this, but it is kind of funny to watch Riley. He's that team is a joke. It's 3rd and 13. The game 7-7. Oregon just runs a slant across the field and goes 83 yards. Like you don't see that anywhere, right? Yeah. There's bad, and then there's that. That's like low level Division I team bad, right?
Yeah. You got a lot of money invested in him. I don't see how you can fire him. If he's as soft as we all think he is, he may not be able to take this, and he may just say, "I'm hitting the road."
So
Arkansas, there you are.
I will give, I will give Rodney and USC guy. I think the guy has an ego that is much larger than we thought.
Yeah.
He's always gotten away with it. Like they've always been good enough to where it's like, well, I don't see a huge problem with this. We won 11 games. Like that is a line he loves to use, right? What's the big deal? We win 11-2. Mm-hmm. This is the first year where they're not getting away with it.
Yeah.
Maybe finally he will look at himself and say, okay, we got to make changes, right? So that's possible. Because he is the champion of we're just one play away from being undefeated type of guy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe it's so bad they will make some changes. We'll see.
It's really bad.
It's bad.
And one more I want to get to that Rob mentioned, the debacle at Central Florida, Oklahoma State is just mind-boggling. Yes, I can see them being flat. We all knew that was going to happen, but they get beat like that.
Yeah,
it's unbelievable.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy that they got beat 45-3. We thought it'd be a tight game, but 45-3 is unbelievable.
Yeah.
If you're watching the NFL game today, number one, I apologize if you had to suffer through a 10-6 game there in Germany. But total disaster for the Patriots. Had all kinds of chances and couldn't do it. So
So it's over.
It is over. I mean, they may be taking one more knee, but it's over for that for all intents and purposes. That game's over. 10-6. Colts win a real barn burner there in Germany. Any final thoughts before we get on to today?
Well, the thing with Belichick again. Barry Switzer said it best. You got to have players.
Yep.
If you don't have players, it doesn't matter what you do as a coach. You cannot will those guys to win very much.
No.
If they can't make the plays, because you can't go make the plays, and he doesn't have any offense, and they're just not any good.
Well, I think the bottom line, to kind of sum up all of football, no matter what level you're in, a great quarterback will cover up a ton of flaws on a team.
You, if the Chiefs didn't have Patrick Mahomes, they would be 3-5, 4-4.
Exactly. And you're going to look like a better coach that you are if you've got Tom Brady, right? For however many years. He was there forever.
Tom Brady, he just makes you better.
That's right, because he'll cover up a lot of your problems that you might have.
Well, we've said a million times too over the years, especially watching the good OU teams with the quarterbacks they've had. Especially the last 3 or 4 that came through there, Baker and Kyler Murray and Hurts and Williams.
Yep.
How many times did they take a busted play that was a horrible play call and turn it into a 40-yard gain? And that makes the offensive coordinator look like genius when if you don't have that guy, it's not going to happen. And that's what Mahomes does. That's what the great ones do. They make great plays out of nothing.
If you watched the Michigan game yesterday, Michigan-Penn State, it definitely felt like Michigan just kind of dominated the game. But if you really break it down, there were 4 or 5 plays that J.J. McCarthy made. What we were just talking about, the play kind of busted. It looked like they were going to get stopped. He'd make a little play with his feet, get a first down, extend a drive, then they would go score.
Yeah.
On average, quarterback might get stopped, and then you're punting or having to kick a long field goal. That's the difference makers that you're talking about. I mean, and that's just one example of I'm sure 100 if you watched all the games yesterday. That's what the great players, that's what they can do. And then all of a sudden,
why do I hate Sam Bradford? Are you kidding me?
Oh, he's probably our favorite player of all time. So
I guess maybe because I didn't mention him, but I was talking about guys that Lincoln Riley had.
Yeah, Sam Bradford.
I've got his poster and his jersey up in my other room, and the reason I don't have it in this room is because it's a Rams jersey, not an OU jersey. Yeah. I don't hate Bradford. I love him.
But he was also many years ago now.
Yeah, in
that
fact,
15 years.
he graduated in 09.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, he did.
anyway.
All right, let's get to the games today. We'll go quickly here. So we get carried away on Saturdays with the recap. You can tell what we really love to follow.
That's right.
And we'll be back Thursday with more on the coaching situations. Probably learn a little bit more.
Maybe it'll clear up a little bit by then.
Yep. All right, Texans and Bengals. I think this is a pretty good game. We knocked the NFL a lot. I think we've got 3 very watchable games we're going to talk about here. Texans and Bengals today. What do you think? It's a 6-point favorite for the Bengals. They are at home. They look like they're playing better, but the Texans, man, Stroud is playing really well. What do you think about this game?
Well, I'm going to have to add some more fuel to the fire there with old Carr. Should I answer what he said or not? I guess not. Carr, he got hurt, first of all, in L.A. or in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the shittiest team ever.
Pretty bad. Yeah.
And he was coming on a little bit. Anyway, that's enough. What was the score? Oh, Texans and Bengals.
Yeah.
This could be a good game. Could be. Houston's playing fairly well. Cincinnati's coming on. They should cover this. They should. They play well. They're better than Houston. And it's at home. It's tempting to take the Texans plus the points because the Bengals might have a little bit of a letdown, but I think they're on a roll. Give me the Bengals.
Yeah, I took the Bengals as well. I think they're going to get it done today as well. I'm with you. I just think they're kind of, we've seen this pattern, kind of the same thing as last year where they are starting to play. Here they come. They're, and they did the same thing. They looked horrific to start that season last year. And then slowly but surely they got there. So yeah, I'm with the Bengals today as well. We got a head bobber here at Aqueduct. It looks like the 7 re-rallied on the 1. 7-1 in the first at Aqueduct. It's a daylight savings time. Aqueduct's already running. All right, let's go Browns and the Ravens here. Ravens 6.5-point favorites. I think this is a really good game. Browns have they definitely look better. This would be a huge win for them, but boy, the Ravens have had their number for a long time now. Ravens are playing great. They look like a Super Bowl contender. 6.5-point favorites here for Baltimore. Who you got?
The Ravens. This may be the week. The Ravens throw a bad one out there every once in a while. I think they win. I'm going Cleveland plus the points. I think this might be close, and you might look at the total. I could see 20-17, and you cash on that one. I think that's going to be that type of game. It usually is when these two teams play.
Yeah, I've been back and forth on this one. I'm going to go Ravens. I think it's going to be close. I'm going to go with Jesse. I'm going to go with the Ravens as well, -6.5. They've been really good at home. If this game was at Cleveland, if it was at Cleveland, it wouldn't be a 6.5-point spread. But I just think Baltimore at home, they've been darn good. Listen, the new offensive coordinator there, Todd Monken, he's a big horse racing fan too, by the way. But I think he's done a really good job with the Ravens. They look very, very good offensively, and the defense has always been pretty good there. So, yeah, I like the Ravens -6.5. Now, here we go. The Chargers and the Lions. This is going to be a fun one. We've been talking about how this will be a fun game to watch. May not be good football, but it'll be entertaining. The Lions are a 3-point favorite here in L.A. Listen, we talked about it. The game's at L.A., but that doesn't mean they're going to have a home game. The Lions will probably have more fans. What do you think is going to happen in this one?
I don't know. I'm not going to watch anything this morning or this early afternoon. This one's later. I'm kind of interested in this one. I kind of like the Lions, and the Chargers are always fascinating to watch, see what dumb stuff they do. I like the Chargers. I think they're going to win this game. I think it's going to be a tough game for the Lions. They have had a week off, and that might make a difference. Do they travel? I don't know whether they travel.
Well, I don't think they really have to. I think in L.A., people all move out there, and they're just fans of all different teams. I don't really think those fans that show up at those games are traveling as much as they live there. And, hey, now my team's coming to town,
Yeah, could be. Yeah. There won't be any Chargers fans there.
No, because there aren't very many.
Yeah, so we were talking, what would it be like to play somewhere where you never have a home field advantage?
Yeah.
It's not, it's got to be. a weird feeling. And the Rams are the same way. They don't either against certain teams.
Yeah.
And you would have to think LA likes the Rams better than they do the Chargers.
Yep.
So I think this is going to be a really, really good game. Most people are taking the Lions. I understand that perfectly well. I'm not going to bet it because it's the Chargers. So
it's a watch game, man. You just watch and go, okay,
yeah,
this will be fun. I'm going to take the Lions. I'm with everybody in the chat. I don't know. I just can't get myself to take the Chargers ever. So
I'm not completely sold on the Lions yet. I was starting to get there, and they got slaughtered against Baltimore, which is kind of alarming.
Mm-hmm.
And the Chargers probably are better than they are, but that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be very interesting to see what happens in this one, no doubt. All right, let's get to some horse racing. Race of the day. We're going to Aqueduct, race 8 on the card today. This should be a pretty good one here. The Artie Schiller Stakes going 1 mile, $150,000 a purse on the turf. We'll have a field of 8 after all the scratches. So the 2, the 10, the 11, and the 12 all out. So that leaves us with a field of 8. I thought this was a very wide open event. Where are you going on top?
I will call this a bitch, is what I would call it.
Yeah, that's right.
This is another one. They're all pretty much the same. There's speed all over the place. So, will they run each other out and maybe somebody come just off the pace and win? So I got 3 of them listed here. See if you got any of these. I've got the 4, the 5, and the 8 in my top 3. Anybody missing that you like?
I had the 5 on top. The only one I like the 6 and second. I went 5, 6 in this.
Well, I kind of like the 5 also because let me pull him up here. He has shown that he can kind of come off the pace a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see him just kind of sitting back and letting the speed go at one another, because I'm thinking the 4 and the 8 are going to be in a duel. So that's why I kind of like the 5 to come off the pace and get him. I kind of think the 8 might be the best horse. He's been in 3 straight grade 1s and grade 2s, and has not run very well. Before that, he had been at this level and he won both times. Yep. So, they're moving him back to this level. He runs well in a mile. So I think he might be the best horse, but I think that speed's going to get him. So I'm going to go with you. I'm going to go with the 5. He always hits the board.
Yep.
He's in good form. He's running really well. And I think he's got the capability to set off the pace and go get him.
It does seem like he is going to be the one coming from out of it. And I think he's going to have a good shot. Yeah. I went 5, 6, you talk about the 6 a little bit, kind of the same thing. I do think the 4 and the 8 hook up, and it's going to set it up for a couple of closers. So I threw the 6 in there. Let's talk about the 8 for the Minute Mason. When they brought this horse over, this was supposed to be a big time horse. They brought him over and gave him to Chad Brown. He ran really good in a grade 1 and the Maker's Mark on debut. Just barely lost, but he to an upset winner. But he ran really well. 2 wins, like you pointed out, against similar company, and then just kind of didn't do much. Not very good in the 4-star Dave. I wasn't awful, I guess, but got 3rd, 6th at Keeneland in the next race. Brought him back to Woodbine last time out, which I thought was weird. Set the pace, faded. I don't know. A second off the layoff, maybe he runs a little better, but he just never really developed.
I don't like that fade.
And
that's not a good sign.
It's kind of just what he's done
the last few races for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
The 4-star Dave, he got beat by Casa Creed, so that's not embarrassing.
Yeah. And Regal Glory, 2 really nice.
Yeah, ones. That one I can throw that one out, but
it's fair.
That last one at Woodbine,
not good,
is very troubling, and you got to think he's just not running very well. So how can you go with him? And that's why I didn't put him on top. I looked. The other one, Big Everest, the 4. Hasn't run too well his last 2 outings either. So I think it sets up for Jerry the Nipper at 9-2. Wow.
Yep. All right, 9-2 on Jerry the Nipper. We'll see if he can get the job done. Pretty good race today, no doubt. Good card at Aqueduct. It's been a pretty good weekend there, honestly. So, yeah. Before we move on, Remington was wild last night. It sure was. So, my best bet of the day, obviously for the show, left the gate at 6-5. And then, of course, goes to 2-5 on the far turn. But anyway, easy win. So it started off very formful, very easy win. After that, it got nuts. I mean, absolutely crazy. So, yeah, big time winners and hard to get winners as well.
Yeah.
All right, Magic.
And the horse you picked, guys, if you ever see that with Asmussen, where he's ran a horse 3 times, loses in a claim, and claims it right back, you better bet it. Because he likes that horse.
Yep, absolutely. And that was the sign with Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And it was Asmussen personally, like he owned the horse, so he claimed it for himself back. That's always a really good sign. And that started off very chalky, and he won by the length of the stretch. Like, it was never in doubt. So all right, Magic phoned in a bet. He's going to Aqueduct, race 2 on the card, the number 8 progeny for him on top in this one. And he's got good, really good reasoning. This horse dropping down in class, looks like the lone speed in the race. So he should be pretty tough. By the way, that race is going to go off in 17 minutes. Let's see. Progeny right now, 5-2 on the board. So Magic going Aqueduct race 2, number 8 progeny. I'll go ahead and do mine. Then we'll get to yours. I'm going to go Del Mar race 4 today on the card as I pull this one up here. Del Mar race 4 here, a starter allowance on the turf. I'm going to go with the number 4, Regulac. I think this horse is going to be pretty tough in this race. Seems to be the horse that's going to get out to the front. 2 races back, ran at Del Mar for the first time in a 62.5 maiden claimer and just dominated, 1/7. Went back to this level last time out, starter allowance at Santa Anita, got second, only beaten a half length. Ran really well, just got beat. To me, if he runs that type of, or if she runs that type of race again, it's going to be a nice win. So I'm going to go with the 4 in the 4th today at Del Mar. All right, Papa Dude, who you got today?
Well, I can't believe this is my best bet, but anyway. The Raiders coming off a good win. They're at home, playing a Jets team I don't think is very good. I think they should be favored. They're not. I think they're going to keep it going. So I looked at a lot of NFL games. There's a lot of them I like today, but I don't trust most of those teams that I like. I do like Pittsburgh at -3 against the Packers, but couldn't make much money on that. And then I kind of like Minnesota as an underdog against the Saints. That was one I like. And I like Jacksonville a little bit against the Niners, but the Niners have lost 3 in a row. They're due to win one. So that scared me.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Chargers was the other one I liked. But this one, I feel like if the Raiders play well, I think they're going to win. And so I don't like the Jets very well. I think they're well coached. They won some games they shouldn't. If Vegas is ready, I think they get them. So I'm taking the Raiders plus the point.
Yeah, I don't have a hard opinion on this one way or another. I am angry at you, though, because this means I will have to watch this game now.
No, you don't.
I have to. I have to watch it now.
Yeah.
So
you're right, Rob. That is a very good thing. Sometimes that first game, the interim coach does very well, and then that wears off. That is a very, very good point.
Well, here's the deal. The Jets are horrible. Offensively, they're bad. So to me, if the Raiders don't give them points, I kind of think the Raiders will win. Because I don't think the Raiders are going to have to do a whole lot to win the game. But with these Jets games, they have won when the other team has made mistakes. Yeah. Basically, if you don't make mistakes, you play a clean game. I think they'll beat them. So.
Carr makes a good point too. He asks, has anyone seen a team total lower than 10.5? Like you've seen on the Giants.
I don't see how they go over unless the Cowboys are just the Cowboys.
I can't remember the last time I've seen a line that it's 17.5.
Yeah.
I have not seen that in the pros. I don't think since we started doing this have I seen that.
That's a huge line. That's a college line, 17.5.
It really is. You just don't see that in the NFL.
Yep. Yep.
So
yeah,
Dallas is capable of not playing very well.
I just did. Laying 17.5 with Dallas is always kind of shaky, but yeah.
I don't know.
It's gonna be awful. That'll be an awful game.
Yeah.
The Giants, and I know we've got Giants fans here, but they're not any fun to watch, period. So,
well, you can say that about 2/3 of the teams in the NFL.
Definitely true, including the Raiders and the Jets. Thanks a lot for picking that game. All right, let's get the best bets.
You don't have to watch it.
Well, I feel like I should. Yeah. All right, here we go. So, picks for today. I'm going to go Del Mar, race 4, number 4. Magic's going Aqueduct, race 2, number 8. That horse is now 3-1. We're 12 minutes to post for Aqueduct. So
come on, Progeny.
Hopefully, come on, hold at 3-1, number 1, and then come on, win the race. That'd be great. And then you're going to go the Raiders plus 1.5 to round us out. We're 5-4 for the week, down $5, up $55 for the year. All right, Papa Dude, we're going to get out of here. We will be right back here on this show on Thursday, and we'll be back for our show on Thursday as well, as including so many other shows on Thursday. So, everybody, Shouty, you have a good Sunday as well. Everybody else, have a great Sunday. And, don't you ever do that again, Car Ramrod. All right, all right, we're going to get out of here.
Yeah, that's fighting talk there, Car.
Yeah, I could say that with a straight face, but yeah, don't you do it again. All right, we're going to get out of here. We'll see you back here next week. Everybody have a good rest of your weekend.